it's a very new idea of atheism and people not believing in God in such a mass scale. But in the past, we've always had people believing in God, and people, they always have a need and a desire to call out upon something. Because in Islam, in the Quran it mentions, I know we're establishing the Creator, but the Quran mentions that before we were placed in this earth, our Creator, He asked us, Alastu bi Rabbikum, am I not your Lord? And all of the people, they said, Qalu Bala, they said, yes, we affirm this. So this belief is ingrained in a person's soul. Like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to the mean, he said, "Kullu mawludin yulid ala fitra." Every child born is born in a natural state to recognize there's a God, to recognize that there's a divine entity, a power out there. And they've actually done studies, if you look them up, where they've the way they approached the study was they've asked young children, what is the purpose of the sun? What is the purpose of the rain? They've asked them well-known things. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of the eyes, the ears? And they've asked these questions. And children, naturally, instinctively, they will say, these things have a purpose. The sun has a purpose. The rain has a purpose. The eyes have a purpose. Which means that whoever made these things, or whoever brought these things into existence, done it for a reason, a purpose. Because atheism would say, for example, us, as a believer in God, we would say the sun exists because the Creator wanted it to exist in order to give us light, to give us heat, to give us energy, to cause the crops to grow, etc. It was made for a purpose. Whereas atheism would say the sun happened by accident. It was just a mutation. It just came into existence over thousands of years. It was some kind of chemical reaction by mistake. And the byproduct was, it gave light and it gave heat. So the fact that a person believes in purpose and design, it shows that they believe that there's a creator. So I would say observation, the scientific method, the natural disposition of a human being, it necessitates there has to be a creator. And no one has argument on the other way around. They may pretend, they may puff up their chest, they may raise their voice, but they don't have actually an argument for this. And this thing in human beings to call out on a creator is innate. So that's why I would say that to be atheist, I say it makes no sense. It's a denial of reality. It's a denial of the intellect.
Yeah.
But I would say, I'm going to say something now, but I mean it respectfully. But I would say when someone says they're an agnostic, it's like a cop-out. I don't want to commit myself. I just want to carry on and live the way I want. But it's like ignoring the reality.
Well, that's why I go to Mass
Yeah.
at Christmas.
Yeah.
For that same reason. Oh, hang on, there must be something bigger. However, when you come out into the real world, you come out from St Paul's Cathedral, then you hear all the rubbish.
Yeah, definitely. But that's secondary. But I would say.
People are believing it. I don't.
But you believe in the God then?
There's some things you can't be explained now. I don't believe in the 7 day theory. No, I don't believe in that.
No. But I didn't ask about that. But do you believe in a God?
There must be an entity. There must be an entity.
So you do believe in a higher power? I mean, in European languages we call it God.
Well, there must be some sort of entity that
Knowledge, ability, intent.
Words that we can't explain. Something we can't explain.
Yeah.
There is that. However, when I see how people have used that for their own purposes, to promote this and to promote the things that they want to use and use religion for their purpose to promote evil and put people together, that really puts me down.
On the other hand, corruption of the corruption and oppression of religious people. Okay. Is that exclusively to religious people, or can it be also people who are concerned with money, people who are concerned with power?
Oh yeah, exactly. I agree with you. Yes, it can.
Can it refer to atheists and stuff like this as well?
It can be some atheists, but yes, you're right. It corrupts.
Like communism and
corruption corrupts everything.
Okay, so I don't think that this is a valid point for you to avoid submitting and seeking to recognise who is God and what God wants from you.
Well, see, we was brought Church of England, you see,
Yeah.
which wasn't or isn't a religion in my view. You've got to kill Catholics to create your own religion because you want to get divorced. That's not a religion, is it? That's what Henry VIII did, isn't it?
It's quite interesting, you know, a very interesting point. A lot of people are not aware. We're told that King Henry VIII, he separated from the Catholic Church for the reason of divorce. But there were other reasons as well. Interest, you know, usury. It was forbidden in the Catholic Church, but they wanted to establish usury because usury is a very oppressive form of slavery. By controlling people by poverty, rich people become rich without actually offering any service or without doing any, without offering a product or any service. So, but also taxes. Taxes would go to the Catholic Church, but obviously the Church of England wanted the taxes of the peasants to go to them.
And they paid the taxes to the temple and tithes,
So it wasn't only divorce, but...
And politics, he included it, I know. But
Yeah.
I mean, he favoured the younger model anyway. So that's what puts me off a little bit from religion.
Yeah, but
I mean, to be solely say, you know, create exclusive, no.
Have religions done good? Have religious people done good?
Well, they've got the Salvation Army. They're religious, yeah. They've done good there.
I mean, in terms of, because obviously I'm Muslim, but in general terms of religion, charity work, taking care of the poor, establishing orphanages. Also, I would say the religious people. I'm not going to say in every single case, but religious people, they tend to be more concerned about family, keeping the family together, taking care of the elderly, bringing up the children with morals. I'm not saying that this is a 100% rule, but I'm going to say generally. So the thing is, it's like you're coming from a biased point of view because you don't want to commit. You're going to say religious people are like this, religious people are like this, religions have caused this. But I think religious people have also done a lot of good for individuals, for society, for taking care of the needy. And also it gives people a purpose of life, and it gives people, how would you say, a purpose, and it gives them a structure to their life.
Yes, I agree with you. But what, in that regard, what those people should do is to counter immediately the people who use their religion, their belief, for their own ends.
Yeah.
So the imams should come out and say, look, this is not us. This, the Catholic Church, they're trying to do it now. The Catholic Church is trying to do it. The Church certainly doesn't do it. All those people really should espouse that point of view to counter all the myths that come out now. They should do it right now.
I mean, speaking as a Muslim, I know, because obviously we've been accused of a lot, 9/11, 7/7, etc., ISIS, etc. I know many Muslim organizations, many Muslim speakers, many Muslim scholars. They've written, they've spoken, they produce literature extensively, warning against extremism, and trying to educate people against extremism. It's quite interesting because in this country there's a lot of mosques, there's a lot of Islamic centres, centres of learning, and generally, if not always, you will find that these centres, none of them promote this what we call extremism. Extremism generally takes place online on the internet. So there is an effort, but the thing is, if we can establish there has to be a creator, my next question would be, has this creator created us, me and you? Don't worry about these people, for a purpose.
Well, if it's to procreate, I suppose, there's that point of view, but
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
when I say procreate, to expand the knowledge and the intent to others.
But even procreate is going to happen whether we believe in God or not.
Yeah, no, animals do it, educated fleas do it, but I mean, to procreate, to expand and to pass on the knowledge, the intent and the reason to others to continue that line. So
you think it makes sense, it's reasonable, it's a correct position to have, that if there's a God, there has to be a purpose.
If there's a God, there has to be a purpose to us all being here.
I think we agree that there is a God.
Why are we here? And why are we here? There must be, if there's a God, then yes, there must be a reason why there's a God.
Why are you saying if there is a God? There is a God.
Well, that's your comment.
But you haven't given me any counter arguments from what I've offered you. And I think you're in agreement. I think you just don't want to commit.
Well, there must be, as I said before, there must be an entity. There must be an entity.
Yeah.
Whether you call it God, whatever you want to call it. There must be an entity that can't explain.
Yeah.
You can't explain.
Which, to make it simple, rather than having to describe it, in English, we call it God.
Right.
So there has to be a God.
There must be something there, yeah. I mean, I go to Mass, so I must believe there must be a God or an entity or some sort of entity. We need to go to Mass in the first place.
Okay.
But unfortunately, yes, I know seen what the good work the imams have done to counter
extremism.
But in my opinion, they don't go full on. They should go full on.
I mean, how do they go full on?
Do the same tactics.
We have to be law-abiding citizens. Yeah.
No. Well, I'll say that. Do the same tactics as they do on social media. Expose them. We don't. This is a body with nothing to do.
It happens.
Go on the TikTok. What they do. Go on there and say, look, this is not us. It never was. This is why. I go back to the point that Ham is in the Hansard in the lineage of Queen of England. So you've got that to back them up.
I think the thing is we can always talk about other people, but it's good to be concerned about other people, about society, but everything always has to start with ourselves. I have to correct myself. I have to understand myself, what I'm here for, who my creator is, what my relationship with the creator is. And once I have a foundation, then I can try and concern myself and worry about other people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's my two things.
I agree with that, yes.
So I think we are agreed so far, there has to be a God, an entity, there has to be a purpose. So now my next question is, do you think, I'll give it an introduction to my next question, human beings, we are limited. For example, we are constantly learning, but we make mistakes. We can misunderstand things. We may learn something, we may forget it. We may change our mind. And also, human beings, we can be biased. Our understanding and our outlook can be biased. So bearing that in mind, do you think that this creator would inform us of our purpose, or do you think that the purpose is left to each and every person to come up with what they think it is?
Your latter part.
Okay.
If you're saying human beings are all individuals, then yes, and then you're going to get, it has to allow those human beings to...
Free will,
yes, and to create that purpose.
For free will to do good and to choose the right way, to choose the wrong way, and also we will bear the consequences. But I would say it doesn't make sense to leave the purpose to limited, biased people. That's why we differ so much.
Well, that's what's happening now. That's what happened. That's the reality.
That's the reality, but I'm saying because people, they don't know the purpose the creator has given them. Like, if I say, every product which we have, like the bag you have, the coat you have, the cameras, the speakers, the person's watch, etc., it has someone who has made it. And the purpose, the person who made it was the one who made it for a purpose. What I mean to say is the purpose is always given by the maker. The purpose is not given by the product. That's what we understand as human beings. Like, for example, if I have a watch, the person who made the watch, their purpose can be to make money. And I can buy the watch to look nice, to look good in front of people, to look smart, to look presentable, but also to tell the time. That's the purpose of the watch. But this purpose came from the maker. The person who made it in that way to fulfill that purpose. He had a purpose in mind and he made it that way to fulfill the purpose. The watch itself doesn't give the purpose. It's the maker who gave the purpose. So with that being the default position, we understand that the creator who created us for a purpose is the one who gives us the purpose and he informs us, rather than leaving people in blindness, in darkness, wandering, trying to find out what the purpose is. That's why we understand that this creator who gave us a purpose has informed us of the purpose by two ways: by the sending of books and by sending messengers. The messengers are in a society, they're considered from the noble people, the intelligent people, the honest people, the people of integrity, and then they're chosen by the creator to convey a message, to inform the people who the creator is and what their purpose is.
No, I agree with that. Most religions come to that purpose. So it comes to that as well. They was the Catholic saying the same.
Yeah, of course.
But as I come back to that, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
However, there's got to be a bit more attack. When I say attack, I mean attack in the same way that people are trying to use religion, all religions, for their own purpose. That's why I'm agnostic. Because I don't see that enough from people who are, all the people you just mentioned, countering that. And I'm not saying Islam, I'm saying Catholic Church of England.
There's extremism in all groups of people in society.
If I see that, and I see that in the same form as the people who attack them, then yeah, I'll say, okay, then I'll take the point. Those people who put that message is passed on to those people to expound the message.
You're aware of the story of Noah and Abraham.
Yeah.
These people, Noah and Abraham in his time, they were, especially particularly Noah, if we take the narrative of Noah was a righteous man surrounded by evil people. Now, if we take your example, we would say because he's surrounded by evil people, then Noah shouldn't commit himself, shouldn't turn to God, because the rest of the people are evil. But he even though he was alone, or he only had a few believers around him, he stood firm and he was successful. So for example, yourself or myself or anyone, even if you know the Creator, you have a relationship with the Creator, you're upon the straight path, you have to be firm upon that way, you have to be steadfast, regardless of the other people.
Be steadfast, yes. But not only to be steadfast, but to counter as well. Use that steadfastness to counter the people.
Whether the people listen or not.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, at least you can say, well, I've stood steadfast. I've told that Islam, because we're religious, we're not like the extremists. But you've got to do it in the same fervour, in the same attack, in the same method as the people who use religion for their own purpose. So, that's what I'm saying.
From our, this is the first time we met. From this discussion we're having, I understand that you are not taking any position, you're not taking any certainty upon the Creator, upon the purpose that the Creator has given me, what is the right way, what is the wrong way, and your reasoning is because there's a lot of bad people out there who are doing bad things.